Hit record button. Are you working? Yep, perfect. All right, good morning. Welcome in 6:30, Friday, May 6th for another safety focus of the week. This week's code of conduct is to promote the code. An overall general, the 13th code item that we have. Any summary quickly on this? We're pretty straightforward, Mr. Dow.
Well, if you, it's easy to promote the code when we believe in it.
Ah, well said. I like it. So safety news this week, 10 days without a recordable injury. So nice job this week controlling those hazards, identifying and trying to eliminate as best we can through the hierarchy of control. This week we're highlighting and joining the OSHA National Safety Stand Down to Prevent Falls in Construction. Today's the last day. I'm going to kind of capture attendance and submit our stand down to OSHA to get recognized and get a certificate. I'm just going to mostly highlight how we operate falls. I got a quick little video to kind of make it behavior-based safety and what can happen if we don't take falls serious. So quick little 2-minute video, and then we'll go over our best practices. Everybody should turn up their volume.
Pouring concrete. Get in, do the job, and get out.
Sorry, I had to admit somebody into the meeting.
You gotta move fast. There's no time to screw around. But maybe it's time to start thinking about something else.
I hear that lazy kid of yours is graduating.
Yeah, now he wants money for a tux in a limo.
Hey, Tony, you gonna send that concrete or what?
It's coming. Just give me a minute.
Come on. You know, I'm pretty proud of him. He's gonna do okay.
Scott's been placing concrete for years. I mean, he knew what he was doing. He was one of the most experienced guys out there.
Come on, Tony. Any day now.
It's coming. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, believe that when I see it.
I don't know. Maybe he got his head out of the game for a minute, you know? You gotta be focused when you're doing this. You don't have time to be thinking other things. It's a dangerous job. We all know that. You don't go up there unless you know what's up. He knew what he was doing.
Guys, here it comes. Heads up.
One minute he's standing there talking about his kid. The next, I'm gonna tell his wife.
Don't walk the whalers. Build a platform. You're a pro. There's always time to do it right.
So hopefully that's a little kind of make it real for everybody. So again, the hierarchy of controls, when you come to falls, we really try to physically remove the hazard if we can, is most effective, and then gets into the kind of the passive approach, which is a stationary prevention of non-dynamic, which is such as like a guardrail system where it actually prevents you from actually falling. Then you have the restraint, which is isolating people from the hazard you're looking for. Physically, you might fall, but through the retractables, it would only be maybe 2 feet max. And then you get the full arrest systems, which stops you from falling to the ground if your system is set up properly. And then our least effective approach, again, is through that team communication, just by putting signs and warning signs and flagging to identify the hazards. So I got a little bit more in depth here. So elimination is eliminating the exposure. Passive, again, is the physical barriers around unprotected edges and holes and covers. So that's what we really want to focus on in our best practices, is that passive fall protection. is we're physically eliminating the fall as best we can with guardrails, any type of barrier that we can do so no one actually does any type of fall. Then the restraint and the arrest system, and then signage, and also the JHAs, and a good example of administrative control. Lastly, I got a couple of good images of projects that we've done over the last couple of years. Again, very professional, fully decked tow board to prevent any objects rolling off the planking onto workers below. You got a mid rail, you got that top rail, again, plus or minus 3 inches at that 42 inch. So again, that's 39 inches to 45 is that top guardrail. Again, it should always be inspecting of the planks. If there's any damage or cracks, any issues, let's remove them from service so we don't have anyone falling through our planking when we're setting up these types of guardrail systems. So again, this is a great example of a passive administrative or a passive control to prevent falls. And the same thing here. And this is what OSHA is really throwing out and really wants the safety stand down to be. It's always plan ahead to get the job done safely, provide the right equipment, and train everyone to use the equipment safely. So here's a great example of another passive job, a passive work setup, preventing any falls. We got a fully decked guardrail systems that meet all the requirements. So no falls can actually happen. We're pretty much eliminating the fall exposure other than the setup and tear down performing on these bridges. So it's a very safe and in compliant work site. So with that said, that's really all I had for fall protection. We do a pretty good job. Let's just stay on it. And it's really about that pre-planning when you have fall hazards that we need to focus on. And I'd like to add, anytime if we're using personal fall arrest systems, we need to make sure we always have a rescue plan, because we need to get, if someone is dangling, we need to get them to safety in a very timely fashion. Is there anything to add, Ken?
Guess that could be a question from OSHA if they showed up in your site and you're using your fall protection, personal fall protection system. Where's your plan, your rescue plan?
Yep.
Even if you're doing everything right, you have to take the precautions and the planning effort to figure out if something goes wrong.
Yep. And I will try my best to stay on top of that, making sure we got rescue plans and double checking with the crews and getting that document readily available for those projects that we are actually having a personal fall arrest system.
Okay, good. Okay, thanks, Matt. I'll take over here. There we go. Can you see my screen?
We got it. Yep.
Okay, good. So for this week's announcements, this Mother's Day weekend is this weekend, and Sunday is the day. So happy Mother's Day to all our ECI moms. There's also a 401k mailing heading out this week. There's a summary of some material modifications, they call it, change in eligibility, as we've talked about recently. And fund changes, the fund changes agreed upon at one of our last meetings for the trustees. And fee disclosure. So it's things happen, the funds change, and they have to disclose to all the plan members to changes. So all that'll be coming in the mail, and it's probably boring reading. I'll leave it at that. So as we mentioned last week, ECI is changing our banking services to Muskoma Bank. So watch for more notices, and the payroll checks and vendor checks will all be through Muskoma starting at transition date, which is expected around June 1st. And the healthcare 2022 healthcare premium holiday is now in effect. Got multiple more weeks left. And Sarah wanted to let us know that she's got a change bucket in her office for this year's WOKO Big Change Roundup to benefit the UVM Children's Hospital. So that goes on for the year, and the change bucket is in in her office. So if you get any loose change, she'd appreciate you donating it to the Big Change Roundup. No new employees to report this week. And the primary care wellness program is still on here as a connection to look at the information on it. And this week on the financial wellness series, we're again talking about the 401k plan and about the criteria we have for investment funds. And our plan advisor, that's Morgan Stanley, analyzes each fund on a quarterly basis for a variety of parameters. The funds that fail to achieve a score of 60 are placed on a watch list, and watch lists are sometimes watch list funds are sometimes delisted from our plan if recommended by the advisor and approved by the trustees. This just gives a list of the criteria. There's returns, some parameters on returns, alphas and betas, and expense ratios. Expenses are important, obviously, and the tenure of the manager and that sort of thing. So at any one time, we might have 5 or 10 funds on the watch list, which can occasionally include some even the most highly rated funds. And the recommendation to remove the fund from our plan would occur if the fund is consistently on the watch list for several quarters and there's no better rated funds available in their investment class. So it's hard to maintain for a fund to maintain a high level of performance, obviously, over multiple quarters. So don't just toss them because they go into the watch list, but you watch them. So for the weather coming up here, we got lots of sun in the forecast and much warmer weather. So be ready next week. We'll be in the 80s. So it'll be different for us for sure. We got to protect ourselves, sunscreen, and start to think about drinking fluids. COVID policies, nothing new to report here. And this week for the project of the week, we are looking at the paving crew and their kind of kickoff into full gear for the paving season. And we got some pictures from various jobs: Maple Street Road crossing, the Berrytown Bridge, Walcott Bridge, and some grading at Sunset Cliff in Burlington. So this is the Maple Street crossing. Or the Maple Street crossing. Looks like they're paving across the road instead of along the road. That would appear to be why they're loading the paver with the skid steer versus a truck. And of course, there's always some handwork. And here we are again, loading the paver. This is the Berrytown project. Pretty cool close-up pictures of the back end of the paver. Paying attention to details. It's going to start getting warm back there too, so keep that in mind for the pavers this week. That sudden shock of either cold or hot weather is always tough. So this is Walcott. We're milling down the existing surface. So it's like the same picture. Some kind of hand signals here, like, hey, you're too loud. I can't tell what he's saying, but it's not a quiet operation.
He's learning them on the overhead wires. We'll say that.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right.
Good spotting there. I like it.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although doesn't look like he's pointing up, but I'm sure he's that spotter because he's right there.
Exactly.
And another pass. Try to.
Probably putting his earplugs in.
Oh, okay, yeah. Get this up a little further. Oops. As I get further and further down the screen, it's harder to advance it because I get. Oh, there we go. I'm moving the little picture box for the teams. I move so I can advance. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. So then we've got this Cliff Street in Burlington, little private road, a little maintenance out there, regrading, kind of the spring regrading, get the potholes out for the customer. The PSI grader. And then from the photo archives, we have a picture of the old Barbara Green with Mark Mashter. Mark recently passed away this earlier spring, late winter. And this is somewhere in Burlington. So just a reminiscent of the old days with the green, Barbara Green with Mark on it. So good picture. All right, I'll pass this back to you guys to Mark or to Matt and Ben. I see you on the screen. So have a good day out there. Be safe.
Happy birthday, Ken.
Oh,
We won't announce how old you are today, but
Happy birthday, Ken.
oh, thank you. Yep. May 6th.
let's all not get hurt today, especially and ruin.
Not on
Ken's
my birthday. Don't you dare on my birthday.
I get it. That's all he wants for his
All right.
birthday, right, Ken?
Yeah.
That's probably would be a good present to have a good safe day out there today for
That's
everyone.
all I need. That's all I need. Yep. It's a whole safe year. Let's not stop at the birthday. So all the way to my next birthday, and then the next birthday, I'll ask for another year. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Catch you later.
Happy What's up? birthday.
Yep.
Happy birthday, Ken.
Yep.
A lot of messages already pouring in on attendance, so thank you. Continue letting me know if you're watching a group setting, please. Let's be safe today.
Okay.